My family ordered me to empty my savings to fund my brother's wedding, after they ignored me for 8 years and didn't invite me to any holidays. Hi lovelies. Subscribe to stay part of our storytelling family, and let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Now let's move forward with the story. The phone vibrated against my desk at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. Mama's name flashed across the screen, a name I hadn't seen there in 8 years. My hands trembled as I stared at it, memories flooding back like a broken dam. I let it ring once, twice, 3 times. Hello. My voice cracked. Anna. Mama's voice was sharp, businesslike. No warmth. No baby girl like she used to call me. We need to talk about Melvin's wedding. Melvin. My brother. The golden child who got everything while I got nothing but criticism and silence. I didn't know Melvin was getting married, I said slowly, gripping my desk edge. Around me my coworkers typed away, oblivious to the earthquake happening in my chest. The wedding's in 3 months. We're calling because we need $45,000 from you. The room spun. Excuse me. You heard me. Melvin is marrying Destiny and we're doing this right. Big church ceremony, reception hall, honeymoon in the islands. Your father and I already put in $30,000 but we're short. You make good money at that fancy job. Time you contributed to this family. My mouth went dry. 8 years. 8 Thanksgivings, 8 Christmases, 8 birthdays where my phone stayed silent. 8 years since that terrible night when I told them I was moving across the country for my career, and Daddy said, "Then you're choosing to leave this family." I'd sent cards, told, texted, nothing. Now they wanted my savings? Mama, I haven't heard from y'all in. Don't start with that victim mess, Anna. Family is family. We need this money by next Friday. The line went dead. I sat frozen in my cubicle for 20 minutes, phone still pressed to my ear like I could rewind time and unhear those words. $45,000. The exact amount I'd saved for my down payment on a house. My first real home after years in cramped apartments. Anna, you okay? My coworker Linda appeared beside me, concern etched on her face. I lowered the phone. My mother just called me for the first time in 8 years to demand $45,000 for my brother's wedding. Linda's jaw dropped. The same family that cut you off? Girl, you better not. I know. But my voice wavered. Despite everything, hearing Mama's voice had cracked something open inside me. That desperate, aching hope that maybe this was their way of reaching out. Maybe funding this wedding would bring me back into the fold. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying Mama's cold tone, how she'd said your father and I, like I was an outsider reporting to superiors. Not their daughter. Not Melvin's sister. I pulled out my laptop and opened my banking app. $47,234.19. Every penny earned through sacrifice. Working double shifts as a nurse during the pandemic while they never once called to check if I was alive. Skipping vacations. Eating ramen for months. My phone buzzed. A text from a number I didn't recognize. This is your brother Melvin. Mom said she talked to you. Look, I know it's been a while but this is important. Destiny's the one. Don't mess this up for me. Not, I miss you. Not, I'm sorry. Just demands wrapped in guilt. Sleep finally came at 4 a.m., bringing dreams of the last family dinner 8 years ago. I was 23, fresh out of nursing school with a job offer 3,000 miles away. The table was covered in Mama's famous fried chicken, collard greens, and cornbread that used to mean love. California. Daddy's fork clattered against his plate. What's in California except earthquakes and liberals? A career daddy. Head nurse position at a major hospital. The salary is almost double what I'd make here. I've been so excited, so proud. I can finally get my own place, start building something. Building something, Mama repeated, her lips pressed thin. And what about building something here? With your family? Melvin, 25 at the time, smirked across the table. Let her go. She always thought she was better than us anyway. That's not true. My voice rose. I love you all. This is just an opportunity. Opportunities are here if you want them, Daddy interrupted. But if you walk out that door for some fantasy life across the country, don't expect to walk back in. This family sticks together. We don't abandon each other for money. I'd laughed. Actually laughed. You think I'm doing this for money? I'm doing this for me. To prove I can. Prove what? Mama's voice cut like glass. That we weren't good enough for you? That you needed to run away? The argument escalated. Words I couldn't take back. Daddy's final ultimatum. You get on that plane, you're choosing to leave this family. We won't be here when you realize your mistake. I'd left anyway. Called every week for 6 months. They never answered. By Friday, I'd received 17 texts from family members I hadn't heard from in years. Aunt Pauline, your brother needs you. Cousin Rhonda, stop being selfish. Uncle Jerome, this is what family does. My inbox became a battlefield of guilt and manipulation. The breaking point came when I received an email from Mama with the subject line, Wedding Budget Breakdown. She'd actually itemized where my $45,000 would go. $15,000 for the venue. $12,000 for catering. $8,000 for Destiny's dress. $10,000 for the honeymoon suite and flights. Like I was a bank, not a daughter. I called my therapist, Dr. Harrison, who I'd been seeing since year 2 of the silence. They're treating you like an ATM, she said gently. This isn't reconciliation. This is exploitation. But what if I say no and lose them forever? My voice broke. Anna, you lost them 8 years ago when they chose pride over love. The question is, will you lose yourself trying to buy back people who should have chosen you for free? That evening I drafted a response. Deleted it. Drafted another. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, tears blurring the screen. Finally I wrote, Mama, I need to understand something. Why no? Why reach out after 8 years of silence only to ask for money? Do you want me back in your life or just my savings? I hit send at 11:47 p.m. The reply came at 6:13 a.m. Always making everything about you. This is about your brother's happiness. The money is due Friday. Don't disappoint this family again. Like I'd been the one who disappeared. Thursday night, 3 days before the deadline, Melvin called. Not texted, actually called. Anna. His voice was different. Tired. Can we talk? Really talk? I almost hung up. But something in his tone stopped me. I'm listening. Look, I didn't want to do this over the phone, but... He exhaled sharply. Mom and Dad are putting pressure on me too. They took out loans for this wedding. Big loans. They're drowning and they see you as the life raft because you made it out there. My stomach dropped. Wait, they're in debt? Deep. Daddy's trucking business went under 2 years ago. They refinanced the house twice. Mama works at the grocery store now, but it's barely covering bills. When I told them Destiny and I wanted a small wedding, something we could afford, Mama lost it. Said I deserved the same wedding she had, that Melvin Jr. doesn't settle for less. Melvin Jr. The nickname that always dripped with favoritism. So you all decided I should pay for your debt? My voice was steel. I didn't decide anything. They did. But Anna. He paused. I'm sorry. For all of it. For not calling. For letting them shut you out. I was angry you left and I let that anger make me a coward. Tears streamed down my face. You were my best friend, Melvin. We grew up sharing everything. And you just let me go. I know. His voice cracked. I know, and I hate myself for it. But right now I need you to know the truth. If you don't help, they're going to lose the house. Drop a like if this is getting intense. Trust me, it gets crazier. The trap was perfect. Save them and lose myself, or save myself and live with guilt forever. I couldn't sleep. By 3 a.m. I was deep in internet rabbit holes searching public records. What I found made my blood run cold. Daddy's business didn't just go under. He'd been sued for negligent operation after one of his trucks caused an accident. Settlement, $280,000. Their house was indeed refinanced, but not twice. 4 times. The mortgage was underwater by $60,000. But here's what stopped my heart. 6 months ago, Mama and Daddy had purchased a brand new Cadillac Escalade. $48,000. I called Melvin at 4 a.m. Did you know they bought a new car 6 months ago? Silence. Then, what? A $48,000 Escalade. Kish. While supposedly drowning in debt. That's not possible. Mama drives that old Honda. Check the DMV records yourself. I'll send you the screenshot. 20 minutes later he called back. What the hell, Anna? Why would they? Because they're not actually desperate, I said, my voice shaking with rage. They're entitled. They think I owe them for raising me. This isn't about saving the house. It's about maintaining appearances. About throwing Melvin Jr. the perfect wedding while the daughter who abandoned them foots the bill. Melvin was quiet for a long time. Destiny and we never wanted this big wedding. We wanted something small. Maybe 50 people, backyard ceremony. But Mom said that was embarrassing. Said people would talk. People or her church friends? Her church friends, he admitted. The same ones who watched me grow up, who she needs to prove to that she raised successful children. Even if one of those children ran away. I'm not giving them the money, Melvin. I know, Nana. I don't blame you. Mama called an emergency family meeting for Saturday. Everyone needs to be there, she announced in the group chat I'd been added to without consent. We're settling this face to face. I flew back for the first time in 8 years. The house looked smaller than I remembered, the paint peeling, the garden Mama once loved overgrown with weeds. But that Escalade gleamed in the driveway like a middle finger. Inside, 23 relatives crammed into the living room. Aunt Pauline, Uncle Jerome, cousins I'd played with as a child. All staring at me like I was the villain in a story they'd been told without my side. Mama sat in Daddy's old recliner like a queen on a throne. Anna's here to explain why she's abandoning her brother. My heart hammered. I'm not abandoning anyone. I'm setting a boundary. Boundary. Daddy scoffed from the couch. Fancy California words for selfishness. Is it selfish to not want to empty my savings for people who haven't spoken to me in 8 years? My voice was steady despite my shaking hands. Is it selfish to ask why you need my $45,000 when you bought a $48,000 car 6 months ago? The room went silent. Mama's face flushed. That's different, she said tightly. How? We needed reliable transportation. You needed a luxury SUV while claiming you're about to lose your house? I pulled out my phone, showed the documents. Your mortgage is current. You're not in foreclosure. This wedding isn't about saving anything. It's about looking good. Aunt Pauline shifted uncomfortably. Uncle Jerome cleared his throat. Melvin stood up. She's right, Mama. Destiny and I don't want this big wedding. We never did. Sit down, Melvin. No. His voice was firm. I'm done pretending. Mom, Dad, Melvin said, his voice stronger than I'd ever heard it. Destiny and I are getting married at the courthouse next month. Small reception after. Maybe 30 people. We're paying for it ourselves. Mama's face turned purple. You will not embarrass this family. Embarrass. Melvin's laugh was bitter. You cut off your own daughter for 8 years and now want her money. Who's embarrassing who? Daddy stood, his frame still intimidating. Boy, you better watch your mouth. Or what? You'll stop talking to me too. Melvin shook his head. I watched you do it to Anna. Watched her call and text and send cards for years while you acted like she was dead. And I said nothing. I'm done saying nothing. Destiny, Melvin's fiancée, whom I was meeting for the first time, took his hand. She was beautiful, warm brown skin, kind eyes, natural hair in thick locks. Mr. and Mrs. Richardson, we appreciate everything, but Melvin is right. We want a marriage, not a wedding show. You're being influenced, Mama said, pointing at me. She comes back after all this time poisoning minds. I'm being influenced by my conscience, Melvin interrupted. Anna, I'm sorry. For everything. You deserved better from all of us. Tears streamed down my face. Thank you. Cousin Rhonda surprisingly spoke up. Y'all really never talked to her? For 8 whole years. Over her taking a job. She chose her career over family, Daddy said firmly. She chose herself. Linda's voice came from the doorway. I'd asked my friend to come as support, and seeing her there made me feel less alone. And y'all punished her for it. Like this video if you're feeling emotional, and trust me, have tissues ready for what's coming. Aunt Pauline stood. I need to say something. Aunt Pauline, Mama's sister, crossed her arms. Carol, Jerome, I love y'all, but this is wrong. Dead wrong. Pauline, Mama started. No. Let me finish. Aunt Pauline's voice trembled. I watched you erase this child from family photos. Remove her from the prayer list at church. Tell people she'd chosen worldly things, like she joined a cult instead of becoming a nurse. You made her a ghost, and now you want to resurrect her as a piggy bank. Uncle Jerome nodded slowly. She's got a point, Carol. This don't sit right. All of you can leave if you're not here to support this family, Daddy said coldly. Supporting family means calling out wrong when we see it, Aunt Pauline shot back. Anna, baby, I'm sorry. I should have reached out. Should have questioned this silent treatment. I was wrong. More voices joined in. Cousin Rhonda. Yeah, this is messy. Uncle Jerome. 8 years is excessive. But others held firm. Cousin Dante. She did leave us. Aunt Michelle. Children should honor their parents. The room split into factions, arguments overlapping until Mama stood, commanding silence with her presence. Get out, she said, looking directly at me. You came here to divide this family and you succeeded. Take your money and your new life and go. You're not my daughter anymore. The words should have destroyed me. Maybe 8 years ago they would have. But I'd spent nearly 3,000 days learning to survive without them. I never stopped being your daughter, I said quietly. You stopped being my mother. I turned to Melvin. Congratulations on your wedding. I'd love to be there if you want me. I do, he said firmly. I walked out, Linda beside me, leaving behind a family that never truly saw me. The flight back was a blur. I cried so hard a flight attendant asked if I was okay, and I almost laughed. Was I okay? I'd just been disowned again, by my mother. Watched my family splinter in real time. Confirmed that my worth to them would always be measured in dollar signs. But Melvin had stood up. Aunt Pauline had spoken truth. And I'd held my ground. Back in my apartment, I stared at my savings account. $47,234.19. Still there. Still mine. My phone exploded over the next week. Aunt Pauline called daily, apologizing, promising to rebuild our relationship. Uncle Jerome sent a long text about how he'd failed me. Cousin Rhonda. Girl, your mama is big mad, but she's wrong. But the messages that gutted me came from strangers. Somehow, someone at that meeting had posted about it on Facebook. The story went viral in our hometown's community pages. Comments ranged from supportive to vicious. That girl is selfish. Family is everything. 8 years of silence? They're toxic. She should have helped. Blood is blood. Blood doesn't give you the right to bleed someone dry. Melvin called on day 9. Destiny and I set a courthouse date. 2 weeks from today. Will you stand with me? Be my best woman. I sobbed. Really? Really? I need my sister there. The real one who calls me out on my crap, not the one Mom wanted me to have. That night, Mama left a voicemail. I almost deleted it without listening. Almost. You've always been dramatic, her voice said. Making scenes, turning people against me. But fine. Keep your money. See if it keeps you warm at night when you're old and alone. Melvin will realize what you did eventually. They all will. No apology. No self-reflection. Just blame. I saved it. Not to punish myself, but as a reminder that some people will never see you clearly. The courthouse was small, intimate, perfect. 32 people gathered. Melvin's real circle, not Mama's church performance. Destiny wore a simple cream dress that made her glow. Melvin couldn't stop smiling. Mama and Daddy didn't come. Neither did half the extended family. But Aunt Pauline was there, Uncle Jerome, Cousin Rhonda. Linda stood beside me, holding my hand when the tears came. We gathered today, the judge began, and I watched my brother marry the love of his life, surrounded by people who chose to be there, not out of obligation but love. At the reception, A rented community center with string lights and soul food. Melvin pulled me aside. I talked to Mom yesterday. Told her one last time she was welcome to come. She said, not without the respect I deserve. He shook his head. I asked what respect looks like. She said you apologizing for disrespecting her authority and embarrassing her in front of everyone. Her authority? I repeated. Yeah. She thinks parents have ultimate authority over children forever. That boundaries are disrespect. That questioning her is betrayal. He squeezed my shoulder. I'm done playing that game. Destiny and I are building our own family now. One where people don't disappear for 8 years over disagreements. Destiny joined us holding 2 glasses of champagne. To new beginnings and chosen family. We clinked glasses. Around us, laughter and music filled the air. This was what family should feel like. Chosen, earned, reciprocal. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This is your father. You've caused enough damage. Don't contact Melvin again. Let him have his life. I showed Melvin. His jaw tightened. Block them. Both of them. I'll handle it. I hesitated. Melvin, they're still your parents. And they're still toxic. 3 months passed. Melvin and Destiny settled into married life. I visited twice, met their cat Mango, helped paint their apartment. We were rebuilding what we'd lost, brick by careful brick. Then Mama played her final card. Anna, we need to talk. It's urgent. About your father. Her voicemail was panicked, desperate. He's in the hospital. Heart attack. Please call back. I know we've had our differences, but he's asking for you. He might not make it. My hands shook dialing Melvin. It's not true, he said immediately. Dad's fine. I just had lunch with him yesterday. Mom's lying to get you to call. Why would she? Because you won't engage anymore. She's tried everything else. Guilt, anger, family pressure. Now she's faking emergencies. His voice was tired. Anna, I'm sorry. This is who she is. I felt something inside me break. Not the fresh pain of a new wound, but the final crack of something that had been fracturing for years. That night I wrote a letter. Not to send but to release. Dear Mom and Daddy, I forgive you. Not because you deserve it but because I deserve peace. I forgive you for choosing pride over your daughter. For 8 years of silence. For treating me like a bank instead of a person. For teaching me that love is conditional and family is transactional. But forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. I'm closing this door. Not in anger but in self-preservation. I hope someday you understand what you lost. But I'm done waiting for that day. Goodbye. I never sent it. But writing it freed something inside me. The last chain of obligation snapped and I could finally breathe. 1 year later I stood in the living room of my new house. My house. Purchased with savings I didn't sacrifice to people who never valued me. The walls were painted sage green, plants thrived in every corner and photos covered the mantel. Me and Melvin at his wedding, Aunt Pauline and me at brunch, Linda and me on vacation, my chosen family smiling back at me. Melvin called. Destiny's pregnant. You're going to be an aunt. I screamed. Pride. Are you serious? 8 weeks. We wanted you to be the first to know. His voice grew soft. Our kid will know you. Really know you. No 8-year gaps. No conditional love. You're going to be the cool aunt who shows up. Always, I promised. He hesitated. Mom reached out. Said she wants to meet the baby. Make amends. My chest tightened. What did you say? That she can't meet our child until she makes genuine amends with you. That our family doesn't erase people. If she can't apologize and mean it, she doesn't get access to my kid. He paused. She hung up. I should have felt sad. Part of me did. But mostly I felt relief. Melvin had learned what I'd had to learn the hard way. Love without boundaries is just self-destruction. Dr. Harrison asked me in therapy, do you regret not giving them the money? No. Because giving them the money wouldn't have given me a family. It would have funded a fantasy where I believed I could buy back people who should have chosen me for free. And now. Thought about my house. My savings rebuilding. Melvin's baby on the way. Aunt Pauline's weekly calls. The family I'd chosen and who'd chosen me back. Now I know that family isn't about blood or obligation. It's about showing up. Consistently. Unconditionally. And I finally have that. The screen showed my reflection. A woman who'd walked through fire and came out forged in strength, not ash. Some stories don't end with reconciliation. Some end with liberation. This was mine. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe. Share your own family boundary stories below. Let's support each other. Remember, choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. And you deserve people who choose you back.